Hey guys, what is happening and welcome back. So we're back already. I love doing this so much. No, I actually honestly do love doing this. That's no joke. So anyway, I wanted to go through this article because I was like, you know what, when else am I going to do this? Because tomorrow night I'm busy, so I can't do this stream. Tomorrow night, on Wednesday night, we're focusing on New Zealand, and then we'll probably do another stream on Friday to wrap up the week. So anyway, we're going over this absolute stupidity that is going on right now. If you didn't know, I did some videos that I've actually linked in the description on fraud in Canada. You know, fraud is widespread and it's become very easy, I think, these days. You know, anybody who has a little bit of a know-how with computers can falsify documents very easily. You know, you can Google it, you can just go on YouTube. There's plenty of tutorials on how to do it. And that is the risk. So it's going to happen a lot. So it's very, very interesting. So John's asking me, what is the list of countries you are looking to move to? So for us, it's probably going to be between Panama and Costa Rica. Those are the two. We're also probably going to have a place in Mexico, but we're not planning like we're going to live in Mexico for a long time. Now, there's a long list of countries that you can move to. There's a list that I could certainly put together. Those are just countries that we are focused on, that fit the lifestyle that we want. But for other people, there might be other things, like a place like the UAE might suit you better. But anyway, let's get into this. So Canadian real estate has amplified risk for lenders. False income common, says the OSFI, which is the banking regulator here in Canada, which is just hilarious. I mean, we have to laugh at this at some point because you just cannot believe that they are now coming out with this right now after that housing market boom that we've just saw. Now they're coming out and saying, oh yeah, the incomes, they might actually not be fake. They do these reviews all the time. They bring things forward when they know something's just about to blow up, so it looks like they're doing their job so that they continue getting their paycheck, because otherwise everybody's going to look at OSFI and go, OSFI, why didn't you alert us of this? And they'll say, hey, we did. We alerted you 2 weeks before it happened. You know, it's just so like they didn't know this last year. But when you look into the OSFI, you realize it's a corrupt organization. And anyway, we should get into that in a different video. So BetterDwelling, that puts out a lot of good stuff about real estate, put this out. And I mean, just take that in for a second, please. Like, amplified risk for lenders, false income. I mean, come on, false income common. That means it's happening a lot. Oh, it's just so funny. You honestly couldn't make this stuff up. It's like it just gets wilder and wilder every day. Canada's bank regulator is getting its ducks in a row after a routine audit. So they're even, I haven't read this, by the way. So I may seem really surprised as we go through this, but I haven't actually read this. It's not highlighted, as you're going to see throughout this, but I just said, we got to do this tonight. We got to do this tonight. I'm on one. So anyway, this thing, they just said that this is a routine audit. Okay, it's a routine audit. So why didn't they pick it up last year? Now we won't get into that. Just focus on this year. It's so stupid. The Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions reminds me of Superintendent Chalmers. He's probably that good. Superintendent Chalmers is off The Simpsons. If you're that sad and you haven't seen an episode of The Yellow Simpsons, such a great show. OSFI published its first annual risk outlook last week. The report covers systematic risks to the system. Oh, sorry for clapping. That probably came across horribly on the podcast there if you're wearing headphones. But Basically, I just find that funny. Systematic risks to the system. Okay, that's a mouthful. Including a home price crash. Amongst the issues uncovered was mortgage income verification and over-leveraged borrowers. Oh my God, this is absolutely just in, guys. There are over-leveraged borrowers in the housing market, and don't get that. Wait, there's more. Income verification. They're not doing income verification. We knew this. Like, look at my previous videos. I've been talking about this, and everybody has just been like, oh yeah, this guy is just completely off his rocker. You know, funnily enough, when I did the fraud videos for this channel, I think I had like 300 or 400 subscribers at that point, but the fraud videos were incredibly popular, and no wonder they were incredibly popular, because there was a lot of fraud going on. It's so funny, guys. But anyway, so Canada, amongst the issues uncovered was mortgage income verification and over-leveraged borrowers. OSFI plans to address the risks in the next few weeks, likely meaning tighter lending. Oh my God. As if this just doesn't get any better, guys. As if this just doesn't get any better, they are going to tighten lending even further. The government is tightening. They're taking money out of the money supply. The Bank of Canada is saying we're going to do QT, so the banks don't even want to lend. And the Bank of Canada is saying we're going to jack rates up to 2-3% that Canada hasn't seen since before 2008, before this whole bubble and gong show started. And the cherry on the cake is the OSFI that's saying they're going to tighten up lending, just like what's happening in New Zealand right now. And David, you can, if you're in the chat, you can tell people how that's going over there. Although I think you're in Vietnam now, aren't you, or somewhere in Asia. So anyway, Canada's. Someone put why not Southeast Asia to move to? Yeah, you could. Like, it depends on your values. Like Southeast Asia, I've never traveled there, so personally, like, I may love the place, and I definitely throw it on a list if people were asking of countries to move to, for sure. But I haven't been there personally, and I think more like a place like Central America aligns with what we want than Asia, that is generally like more congested and just more hostile to immigrants as a whole. But anyways, it's whatever you want. So getting a little bit off topic there, but let's get back to it. So mortgage loan underwriting risks are common, according to the agency. For those unaware, underwriting is the process to ensure a quality loan. This includes income verification, checking assets and debt, and property details. Bad underwriting is a disaster waiting to happen during risk periods. So we're in an incredibly risky period. Let's just say that. And now they are just talking about these things. You honestly could not make this up. And I really want to swear, but I can't, because it will just limit the audience. But anyway, this is just nuts. This just makes my blood boil, because it is like, how on earth are they just talking about this now? Like, someone needs to throw the book at the OSFI and just say, why on earth didn't you do anything in 2020, you bunch of wine bags? So anyway, sorry for that. I'm just so... these stupid government organizations. Recent supervisory reviews identified several common issues around underwriting, specifically income verification, in areas that have been raised as being problematic in the past, including business for self-rentals, exceptions to income sustainability, as well as collateral management. Read the report. In other words, incomes may have been inflated to obtain more leverage. It was a dry way of wording it, but this is a big problem. Whether it persists or if there's a crackdown if it was really common, this would see investors, the largest segment of borrowers. Totally agree with that. And thank you, BetterDwelling, for actually pointing that out, unlike most of the financial press in Canada, which goes, it's immigration, or just trying to divert everybody looking over here, like, what is it over here, when it's actually right staring you in the face. Investors dry up fast. They're saying that they would dry up fast. Well, that's not going to be a good thing for Canada's housing market. Extending prudential regulation to other products. Non-traditional mortgage products are becoming very common and may require further regulation. Reverse mortgages, shared equity, and combined loan plans are becoming popular. The regulator cites the popularity of these formerly niche products as an area that needs stronger rules. B20 guidelines, which ensure quality underwriting, may be extended to other areas soon. So, this is going to have wide and reaching consequences. And I think people underestimate stuff like this could have a huge impact on the housing market, because anything that dampens that speculation is going to change the housing market quickly, because Canada's housing market is entirely speculative. That's why there's house hoarding. That's why people own multiple properties. It's not because they think that it's good rental income. It's because they think that the housing prices are going to go to the moon. Now, they don't know, they can't do simple math, and they don't know when to get out. And that's the classic retail investors. Is conundrum the right word? I don't think so. But that's the classic retail investors dilemma. That's the word I'm looking for. When do I sell? I don't know. So I'll just hold on forever until it's worth nothing and I lose it. And that's it. But anyways, CLPs may be a bigger issue than the public knows, considering the frequency mentioned. These combine mortgage and a home equity line of credit, HELOC, into one product. I think we've talked about it very many times on this channel, like the danger of home equity lines of credit. Basically, people use these lines of credit to fund the down payment. So this makes the stress test like entirely irrelevant, because if you've got average Joe and Jane are coming to buy a house for $600,000, and let's say they have $20,000, but let's say they go and then borrow $160,000 from a line of credit, and they're going to use it as an investment property. And they then say, it's not an investment property. One of us is going to live here, because everybody does that, because we've read that on forums. That was covered in the fraud video as well. Then basically they're being stress tested as if they're having this smaller mortgage and this smaller amount of debt, when they've actually got this line of credit that could be called in at any moment for this huge amount on this other house, that if that goes down in value, they could end up on the hook for that line of credit. That line of credit needs to be paid back. So now they need to, do you see how this all works like dominoes? It's like everything is connected with one another, and one falls, they all fall down. And that is just how these bubbles are always stacked. They're just stacked to pop. And that's why when they pop, they don't come back, because there's just so much collateral damage. And this could really be the icing on the cake. If you're a potential home buyer for the future, this should be music to your ears, because little do you know, this could probably be more important than the rate hikes if the OSFI starts tightening up the lending whip, which they might do. So these combine a mortgage with a home equity line of credit into one product. By doing this, borrowers see their HELOC credit limit rise with each payment. OSFI has previously cited CLPs as a valuation risk, believing it hides distress, which, yeah, it would, right? That makes total sense. Mortgage stress test may rise this winter. Oh my God, I did not hear this one. This is just hilarious. The mortgage stress test is another issue OSFI cites as a concern these days. Uninsured mortgages are stress tested with a minimum qualifying rate. MQR is currently 5.25%, or the contract rate plus 2 points, whichever is highest. That is a borrower needs to qualify for a mortgage at the higher of the two, regardless of what they'll pay. So they're on about hiking that. Wow. As the overnight rate is forecast to climb nearly 2 points in a year, the MQR may need a revision. The next planned MQR announcement is December 15th, 2022, about 7 months from now. Wow. Is that really 7 months from now? Oh, that is so sad, because that just goes to show how just when it was snowing last week and we're 7 months from December. Don't tell me that. Oh God, I can't live here anymore. No, just kidding. Yeah, it's so funny. But anyways, so we'll see what happens then. Remember, risks takes care of itself while prices are rising. Yes, I love that. That is just perfect. BetterDwelling does come out with some good stuff. We got to hand it to these guys. They're actually fairly decent. They seem to understand a little bit of what they're talking about. Remember, risk takes care of itself while prices are rising. So true. That is such a great statement. I'm going to tweet that out after this video. A homeowner is unlikely to default in a market where they can sell a home within days of an emergency. Additional equity also makes it easier to cover distress, like with CLP mortgages. Only when the bid dries up do real valuations become apparent. In a non-stimulus market, that can be considerably lower than right now. Oh yeah, that is so true. They've hit the nail on the head there in that last part of that article, where I'm just going to read that again, because I think that's so important for people to get, because that is really true. Remember, risk takes care of itself while prices are rising. A homeowner is unlikely to default in a market where they can sell a home within days of an emergency. Additional equity also makes it easier to cover up distress, like with CLP mortgages. Only when the bid dries up, like is starting to happen, do real valuations become apparent. In a non-stimulus market, that can be considerably lower than right now. So the OSFI is wading in. They are looking to put some more regulations in place, basically, and tame the market. They have now all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, realized all these products that we've been talking about for a long time. I mean, they knew about these things. They were obviously it was in their interest at that time to keep their mouth shut. And, it's hilarious, really. Like, nobody is really covering this stuff. Nobody, apart from me, obviously, nobody is. Like, this stuff gets very little attention at all. And when the housing market is the economy, then that's when you really got to stay. Like, it's going to be big when this thing blows up. Like, it is going to be huge. So don't kid yourself about it. So it's will Canadian housing prices come down since they are cracking down on foreign investors buying homes? No. So foreign investors have been on the decline in Canada since they started to clamp down in around 2017, I want to say. That was when BC and Ontario started clamping down on foreign investors. Foreign investors were cited as the main cause of the housing market problems, but it wasn't. It was always domestic investors. And I'll tell you a quick story. When we were in Milton, I used to go around the estate and I used to talk to people, and I used to basically see all these different people, and I'd go knocking on different doors. And it was so obvious when I basically started looking around and started going street to street. I realized so quickly that it was all domestic investors. Like, it was probably 30%, I think it was around 30% of the people on the subdivision that I went on, that was called, trying to remember the name of that subdivision now in Milton. But anyway, it was in Milton, but it was probably about 30% were domestic investors. And I would say like about 5% of that were maybe foreign investors. So foreign investors are always cited as this big issue. And I think it sounds good, especially for politicians. Like it sounds really good that we're clamping down, but they're always going to find a way through. And foreign investors are a problem in every single market around the world. It's not unique to Canada at all by any stretch. But they have been on the decline. Like you can see that the rates have been going down in places like BC, where foreign investor are rife. But domestic speculation, that is really what is driving the market. It's actually Canadians, it's house hoarding, it's all these different things that constrain the supply that happen during a real estate bull market, during a real estate boom. Those are the real things. Those are the things that nobody really sees. They're the canary in the coal mine. I think that's the right term. I don't know. I'm just going to Google it now. I've never used that before. What? I don't know. But anyways, but yeah, that is essentially what it is. It's like the canary in the coal mine. It is like that indicator. It's just it's really insane to me, guys, when I really think about it, that all these things are happening and so many people right now are still going out there to buy in droves, and that is happening. That is the crazy thing. And you know what? Demand is going to continue here as people have rate holds, and they're racing to lock in these low rates. It's like a race to the bottom in buying a stock almost. Like it couldn't be the worst time. But yeah, it's US being first says canaries were used to know if the mine was filling up with deadly gas. If the canary dies, get out. No way! I never knew that. Thank you for actually saying that. So yeah, it really is the canary in the coal mine then. But yeah, the thing is, foreign investors are not going to be the main driver of the market. The main driver of the market has always been domestic investors. And that's the thing. People should realize it. And, you only have to begin talking to people to realize it. So, yeah. Anyway, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But you know what, guys? I don't have anything else for you. So that was it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please smashy on that like button, and check out the fraud videos if you weren't on this channel, which I'm guessing most of you weren't, because we're nearly at 3,000 subscribers, and it was before we'd even hit 500 that I was doing those fraud videos. So check them out. They're funny and interesting, and it's interesting to see the channel in its infancy less than 12 months ago. So yeah, it's very interesting. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, the links are in the description, and I'll put them in the pinned comment as well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. See you in the next one. Peace.